guys, I am back with a different kind of video today. I have joined Cool Cakes and Crafts with Amalia's Crafty Goals collab for 2020. I heard about it last year, Bourbon Creek Crafts, who I've mentioned a couple times here. I really enjoy her videos. She had been a part of this collab and I've been watching her journey over the last year, and it was something I really wanted to do, and I kind of felt like it was something that I needed to do as like officially part of the collab to sort of keep me accountable to those goals, because I set goals all the time. Doesn't mean I actually, do them. So I thought if I officially joined this collab and I have you guys watching me do well or not so well at these goals, it would keep me more accountable and make it a little easier for me to actually do the things that I want to do. So basically the collab is a bunch of crafty YouTubers who have decided to get together and share what they want to do within the crafting space in 2020. I think most of the people that were in the collab last year are back this year from what I understand, and there's a couple of new people, myself included. Everybody's goals are a little different. I have a bunch of them this year. A lot of them are just continuations of goals I had last year, but I'm trying to make them more concrete this year. One of my top goals for this coming year is to be a faster crafter and thus a faster and more consistent content creator, because the main reason that I get behind on posting anything here on YouTube and I go days if not weeks without posting something is just because of how long it takes me to make projects to share with you guys. I stopped doing haul videos, and that's the quickest, easiest way to make content, right? That's why a lot of crafters do it. And I've just focused on project shares, and I've said I want to do tutorials or craft with me's, but I don't really have a setup for that, so that's a struggle. Really, the only thing I have to share with you is project shares or work in progress, and that's about it. But I do want to post here more consistently. I don't like that I'm not posting consistently. So I have goals to try and get faster at crafting, because I am a slow crafter. I've said that before. I don't really know why I'm a slow crafter. I just kind of am. So that's why I put down get faster / more efficient at making crafting decisions. Figure out how to better deal with my scraps, because they are definitely what slowed me down. When I have a full piece of paper to work with or half a piece of paper to work with, I don't have a problem. It's when I get to the scraps that are weird sizes and weird shapes and it's like, this is too big a piece of paper to throw out, but I don't know what to do with it. That's where I get really slowed down. So for 2020, I really want to focus on figuring out what size scrap is good enough to still figure something out with, and what size scrap needs to just go. I've gotten better at that, but I still get into problems where I have a scrap that's this big. So it's not a tiny scrap, and it's not like a long skinny scrap. It's a decent size, but it's also smaller than I would typically work with, so what do I do with it? I need to get better at just dealing with that. And then also, as I mentioned in my sort of kind of taking a hiatus video, I want to get ahead of myself with crafting and filming so that I have things ready to go to share in advance, both just in general, and then as far as like seasonal crafting, to have those videos up in a timely manner during the season, not right at the end of it or after, which is usually what ends up happening. Then I also have other goals. Again, I've been working on some of these already, using up my stuff. I want to use my supplies instead of hoarding them. I've been doing a good job at that, but I need to use more. I also need to use the supplies that I keep forgetting about, because I have certain supplies that I just don't even think to use, like stencils. I have a handful of stencils. I don't think I've ever used them. I know there's some stamps I have that I've never used, inks I've never used. Also, continuing my very low spend. I can't say it's a no spend. I have been buying stuff, but because I am very broke, it's been few and far between. Only when there's good deals or it's something that's just too good to pass up. But I did pretty good up until like the last quarter of the year, I think. I spent very little, and then I spent a bit more for Halloween and Boxing Day and Black Friday. But as far as the rest of the year, I've been pretty good. So I want to continue that, keeping it on a low spend. It's also helpful for using it up, because if you're using more than you're bringing in, you're obviously going to be using stuff up, right? And then the only specific goal I have for using stuff up is I'd like to use up at least 6 paper pads or collections / kits. I know, because I'm such a slow crafter, that doing a paper pad a month is not feasible for me, and that's what right now when I'm unemployed and have all the time in the world to do crafting. And when I finally get a job again, it's gonna be harder than that. So I know in some cases it's taken me 2 months to do a paper pad, and in other cases it's taken me less than a month. So I figure, okay, split the difference, say 6, and if I get at least that done, I'll be happy. Everything else is just kind of a use it. Like, I don't want to put down, like, I want to use 3 rolls of washi, because I have tons of washi and it lasts a long time, and the idea of using 1 roll until it's finished just sounds exhausting to me. So I don't really have a goal for anything other than paper. It kind of makes sense for me because paper takes up the most space. Organizing, again, I've been working on that off and on for the last little while. One of the biggest reasons is I need to get my living and crafting spaces in order, and as you may know, I live in a basement apartment. It's a bachelor apartment. There's only one giant room, basically. So my living space is my crafting space, and it's a complete mess. And it looks, I feel like I look like a hoarder. Just because everything's cluttered and messy, and I can't get in to clean things, and bleh. That's another reason to use it all up, right? So I don't have stuff to clean and stuff to move around. So yeah, I want to get my living and crafting spaces in order. I want to make it easier to access my supplies, because right now, because I'm in the middle of a big organizing project and everything's a mess, it's actually harder right now to get to the various supplies. And then also I want to create an inventory of my supplies and my projects. I'm planning to try to do that in Evernote because that's what I've read is the best app for that. I would like to have an inventory of both the stuff that I'm using, and then also I want an inventory of the stuff that I make, especially for when I start selling it. That way I know exactly what I've still got on hand and what I don't. So that's a big project for this year. And then sharing, again, posting more on social media. I'd like to get up to consistently posting once a week on YouTube. I know that's been my goal this past year too, but I know I haven't hit it either. So I'd like to post at least once a week on YouTube and maybe twice a week on Instagram and Facebook, because right now I pretty much only post links to my videos, and that's it. And I know that's really boring if you follow me. I also want to start sharing on more platforms. I want to start a Pinterest, maybe a Twitter. I'd like to start a blog. I don't know what else I would like to do. And then also I would like to join at least 3 collabs this year. Obviously this is the first one. I really enjoyed that last collab I did with the Crafty questions. It'd be fun to do more. Oh, and I was part of that Happy Fall paper pad collab with Bourbon Creek Crafts as well. So it is a big one because I've been saying for probably at least a year now I want to start an Etsy shop, and I want to like start a business in general and things like that. So one of the things, it's not really related to an Etsy shop, but I would like to de-stash the supplies I don't need or want, and then I want to start preparing my products for sale because I have a ton of stuff, but I haven't photographed them, I haven't packaged them nicely, anything like that. And then obviously start an Etsy shop and work on other business tasks like a website, a business plan, securing funding, that sort of thing. I won't be tracking too much of that in this collab because I feel like it's kind of like private / personal information as I'm figuring it out, but some of it I can track. And then just general tracking, which you'll see in a minute. I want to do it to keep an eye on my progress and figure out where I can improve. Keep better track of what I've accomplished, because sometimes you feel like you haven't gotten anything done. So if you can look back and go, actually I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, that feels good. And then just also keep better track of my spending. I was tracking spending a couple of years ago in my regular bullet journal. This is my crafty bullet journal, by the way. In my regular bullet journal a couple of years ago, I was doing some spending tracking, and then it fell by the wayside. So at least for crafting spending, in part because I'm not spending that frequently, I would like to keep a better eye on it so I know, okay, am I really not spending as much as I think I'm not spending, or am I just tricking myself because I'm going to Dollarama and buying like 2 or 3 $1.25 items? So I didn't spend that much, but I did it 10 times this month, so I did spend that much, you know what I mean? I have my main tracker thing here, and I actually I did a totally different style of tracker initially, and I got about 90% done, and I hated it so much. I actually did a thing I've never done in a bullet journal before. I actually taped the pages shut, which I don't normally do. Anyways, so I have this tracker. I'll probably have to move it around. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. I guess I can zoom it in a bit. So I have the whole year here, and then a lot of this is, again, just reminders to me to use stuff. So I have 12x12, 6x6, or other size paper pads, collections and kits, loose paper and scraps, because that's one of those things that I forget about. Washi, I always pull washi out and then I never use it. I think my strategy might be pick 2 or 3 washi that coordinate with what I'm working on, and that's it. Thrifted cards and card sets. I have a ton of cards. I really need to go through them that I bought in grab bags at the thrift store, and I had ideas for them, but I've not used them, or I don't like those ideas anymore, so I have to go through them and then use the ones I want to use. I've also got a handful of card sets that I need to use. Journaling cards are things that I go through phases with using and then not using, so and I'm back in the not using phase, so we gotta do that again. Binders, file folders, and binder rings. I consider these all like mini album type supplies. I have some mini binders, I have a ton of file folders, and I have a ton of binder rings, and I haven't really used any of them yet, or I haven't used file folders or rings in a long time, so I need to deal with those. Notepads and notebooks, again, I bought some at Dollar Tree and stuff based on tutorials that I had seen online, and I've never used them, so I need to use them. Ribbons and fabrics, sometimes I'm really good at using it, sometimes I'm terrible at using it, so again, this is just kind of a reminder, please use some of it this year. Stamps and ink, I've gotten a bit better with stamps in that I have been stamping sentiments and whatnot, but I know I've got stamps I've not used. I haven't really done too much ink blending with like the stress inks and stuff that I have. I want to do some more of that. Stencils I have never used ever, and I really need to use them, figure out if I want to use them, and if I don't like it, then destash them. And then I have a little bit of paint. I bought a little bit of acrylic paint to alter some wood veneers and things like that, because wood veneers are something else that I have a bit of and haven't really used. So I need to actually do that and do some that kind of painting. I've got watercolor paints. They're really old. I don't know if they still work, but I've got watercolor paints. I've got some glitter paint I got in a thrift store bag. I need to look through my paints and see what I can use and try using them. And again, if they don't work for me, get rid of them. Then on the second page here, like this is all the use it up category, and this is the organizing category. This is basically, I'm just going to track, did I do any decluttering and organizing this month? Because again, I go through phases where I do that. I spend a lot of time doing that, and then I go through phases where all I'm doing is crafting. So I need a better balance of both. And then again, did I work on cataloging my supplies and my projects this month? Again, just to keep me accountable, these are things I want to do. These are things I'd like to get done or close to done by the end of the year. So I need to really be doing some work on them every month. And my apologies that it went out of focus just now. And then down here is the sharing. Like I said, I want to post at least once a week on YouTube, so there should be 4 to 5 videos in each month. Again, with Instagram and Facebook, there should probably be twice as many, since I want to post twice a week. And then collabs, just am I in a collab? Did I do a collab thing? Obviously there should be at least one check there every month, but I'd like to get up to 3 this year, even if it's just a one-time thing as opposed to a year-long or month-long or whatever. And then this is all just kind of businessy stuff or selling stuff, so photographing my projects. I keep saying I need to do that, and then I don't do it, and then packaging them for sale, and then eventually once I get an Etsy store, listing them, destashing the supplies I'm not going to use, and then this is just other business stuff that I might be tracking elsewhere, but privately. Then I've got a couple more less overwhelming trackers that I couldn't really figure out how to fit into this big one here, so this is just tracking the stuff that I've made and how long it took me, because when you're setting prices for products you've made, you really should include how much time it took you to make it, and I never really keep track of that. I can probably guesstimate, but again, because I'm a slow crafter, the guesstimate might not be correct. So I want to keep more time, at least, of how much time I'm spending crafting. If I can track it on specific projects, that'd be even better. But it's just something I need to know for myself. And then also just what I made. Again, I started tracking what I was making last year. By about like March, I stopped. So I need to actually keep track. And then similarly, I'm going to be tracking exactly what I use up. This is because while some stuff is more specific, like paper pads, there's stuff that you go through all the time, like adhesive and trimmer blades and things like that. So it's a good way to sort of keep track of just how much I'm using up. And I also want to see how long it takes me. So I'm going to put like the day I start a new roll of ATG tape. And then when I finish it up, like when I was finishing up my Christmas cards, I used up an entire roll of adhesive in like 3 days. But then if I'm in a lull with crafting where I'm doing more like cutting than I am gluing, then a roll will last me much longer. So it's just, again, just interesting to see how long things take to use up. And the last one is just spending. These other two, I might have to make secondary pages for them if I fill them up. I'm hoping that I don't fill this one up, because again, I want to be on a low spend. Very, very low spend. But yeah, again, that's just for my own personal accountability, that I'm spending as little as possible, and that when I spend it, it's something I need rather than something I want, or that it's more often something I need rather than something I want. And yeah, that's my long and rambly introduction video to the Crafty Goals 2020 collab with Amalia. I hope you enjoyed. Please check out everybody else who's in the collab. They will be linked in the description. They'll be in there every video. I have to post a video once a month, just to give you a recap of how I did with my goals the previous month. So for instance, the start of February will be the recap of how I did in January. But please check everyone else out, because everyone's got different goals and different ways of getting through those goals and how they're going to accomplish them. and it's interesting to see how people approach things. So definitely check everyone else out. They are linked down below. There will also be a playlist that will be under the hashtag CRAFTYGOALSWITHAMALIA, and that should lead you to a playlist of everyone's videos throughout the year, so you can check them out and see what people are doing. That's definitely what I will be doing. Let me know if you are participating in, or at least going to be keeping an eye on, this collab, or if you're doing something similar on your own. It'd be interesting to see, like I said, what other people are doing and what their plans are. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Please give it a share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that little bell in the corner to be notified when I next upload a video. You can check out the Facebook and the Instagram. They will be linked below, as well as, again, everyone involved in this collab. And I will see you guys in the next one.